So it is good to be back to, I guess, the way it started before. So hi Murphy, how are you? Good to see you.
Hey, maybe you could tell me if you're going to slander me in my own title.
Look, because we're collabing again, like old times, I just thought that I'd throw the OG name when we first collabed. No, second time, right? Because you were the puppy kicker the first time.
Yeah, so as a puppy kicker the first time, why are you not the Bellmare hater? Because that's what the title you earned in that stream.
So I thought delay would be better because my chat has been abusing me about delaying, and I actually delayed a movie night again. So I just thought, let me just get ahead of the curve.
You know what? That's honestly fair because they're both accurate.
Yes.
I don't deny this title. It seems right.
I think so. So we're here, guys, talking about One Piece. I don't even remember the last time we've really just talked about One Piece in general, besides screaming about Moria privately, because that was just awful. Bro, why am I in the checkout still trying to outwit the coupon guys? This ain't the Olympics, man. I just want a hoodie. I'm not living like this in 2025. So this is Cooper, your AI-powered super shopping assistant, and honestly, it's the only extension that's not a gimmick. Cooper auto-tests every coupon in the game. You just click a button and it finds the best deal for you. Hands-free savings. Meanwhile, I'm over here watching it like a proud villain. Muy bien. Over 76,000 stores give you cash back through Cooper. Activate it, finish your checkout, and they send you money. You can cash out with PayPal, gift cards, and even a bank. It's clean. Use it consistently and your bank account starts looking like it eats. And the price comparison tool, game changer. You're looking at what item for too much, Cooper slides in like, nah, here's 3 coupons cheaper. Fix your life. Over 9 million people use this weekly. And you think it's a coincidence? No, because smart shoppers use Cooper. Ready to save instantly? Grab Cooper now. Free install, max saving, links in the description below, and stop paying full price in 2025. That's just not rat behavior. Okay, so I've been the whole proponent of Garp is trying to change the Marines from the inside, right? Because Garp gets a lot of heat for letting Ace die. That's the #1 slander of Garp. You let Ace die, you're a lapdog for the government. How could you choose the evil world government over your grandson? That's the biggest thing. And my biggest defense for Garp has always been that he tried to make sure that his family avoided that fate. That's the whole reason why he broke down in tears when he said, damn it Ace, why couldn't you just listen to me? Why couldn't you just do what I told you, right? Because he wanted to avoid this happening. And people were like, well, does your duty matter that much that you would abandon your family? You'd let your son be killed? Would he do the same for Luffy? Some people don't agree with it. They think he's trash as a result of that. They call him a glorified fence sitter. So I always like, well, Garp is the hero of the Marines. He has a duty to uphold. So at the end of the day, he stood on principle, and he also tried to make sure Ace had to avoid this from happening, and Ace made his decision. And there's too much at stake for Garp to sacrifice just to save his son, to destroy everything that he's worked towards. But then people are like, well, how do you know what he's working for? So then I'm like, well, with Kobe and God Valley, you clearly see his ethics where it's more about preserving the future and passing the buck. Kobe is the future of the Marines. I'm training you, Helmeppo. I'm training Aokiji. The battleship punching bags. His fury at Dragon leaving the Marines. All of that stuff. With the ethics class, you have the implications that Garp is trying to change the Marines from the inside. Only problem with that is that Oda has not taken the time to really truly explain Garp's goal and motivations within the Marines, which leaves it for benefit of the doubt. So when you add all of that together and you get this man that's seeing all this genocide going on, it's hard to defend him if he doesn't have any plan. He's like, so Garp, you just part of the Marines, but you're watching all these guys murder, kill, maim, assault human beings for sport. Oh, you're worried about us chasing Roger around the seas? That's what you're worried about? You let your grandson die for these guys? Who are you? What do you stand for? The problem is we don't know what he stands for.
Problem is we don't know.
So when I see this, and if I find out that Garp sees the dead bodies, the festival's over, Celestial Dragons have run away, they're all in the center of the place. So he's not going to see them actually killing him, but he's going to see the bodies. Somebody's going to tell him what happened. If he didn't already know, how he reacts is going to tell everything. When I tell you his actual character perception in the entire story is on the line, next chapter, it's not even just like in a few chapters, it's next chapter. Everyone's eyes is going to be on Garp, and it's going to be like, listen, you better be outraged. We know you stayed on the Marines anyway. So if we don't get your goals, if we don't get your motivations, if we don't get your plan, you're trash. Like, Like at the end of the day, they're just gonna go for it. Garp is trash. And I have been championing Garp is the GOAT. Garp is the best written character in One Piece. I don't know if I can say that anymore. And that's gonna hurt me because, you know, I'm brazen, I'm flamboyant, I yell things. This happens and Dragon turns out to be even better. This community's gonna, Murphy, it's gonna be a long time for me. They're going to cook me well done. I might be burnt after this. Like it's bad.
Okay, some thoughts. When we have half information, it's easy for us to try to process this. Good, bad. And we try to categorize a character one of those two ways when we don't have the full information. Some patterns in this story so far. We have seen characters that have a greater good goal and there are harmful ripples coming from the decisions that they ultimately make. We see that for Garp, who previously he'll ride the line, he'll let his grandson die. The God Valley incident, it happens every 3 years. He understands that slavery is happening, all the things that we talked about. Ignoring evil for the sake of potentially the great topple to come. Dragon is working in the Revolutionary Army, trying to do the great topple from his perspective. He neglects his son, he neglects other familial loss, like Kuma, when Jinny's taken and he goes, can't really help you there, right? The sake of the greater plan. He has to keep that in mind. We've seen it with Luffy before. He'll outright ignore evil unless it affects someone that he immediately cares about. It's let the world government do whatever they want to do. Just give me back Robin. Impel down, please. Everybody, just give me back my brother. Harold wants so badly to unite Elbaf with the world that he's neglected his son, he's neglected his first wife, and willing to kill his friend in the name of peace. In order to get peace, he's willing to betray and commit violence against one of his most trusted people. I think Oda is drawing a pattern of people who have ultimately good plans and ideals, but the reality is that there are ripples. And for Garp to ignore such evil is a really big ripple.
It's a massive ripple, yeah.
A massive ripple, and one that's really hard for us to look at. But Killingham also, when he rushes in the midst of the Elbaf chaos, he says, remember Elbaf, you created these monsters yourself, when he's talking about the nightmares that they're trying to face off against in the moment. And so it is possible that what Oda is doing in this arc, and I don't know, but it is possible that what he's doing is he's showing people, kind of like what we talked about before. Oda does this all the time. He takes one thing and then he shows it people coming from many different angles. So he could be showing Garp trying to reform the world government from the inside because they're the ones with power. So if I leave and everybody that's good leaves, then all you have is a 100% evil organization. So he's trying to do what he can from the angle that seems right to him. Dragon leaves and tries to create an organization against them. Luffy is trying to topple them, from his angle. None of them are without ripples. None of them leave no one unharmed. There's someone harmed in each of their stories. So it's still possible to view Garp as gray. We just have to see how he responds to what he's about to witness, what he's about to roll up on.
And that's the most important thing, right? Oda, was there ever a time for you to show what Garp's goal is in the Marines? It would have to be within these next couple of chapters.
I think it would be a mistake not to give us some sort of nuance coming up here real soon.
It'd be a huge mistake because then at that point, you can't leave something like this up to the reader. I think one of the saddest things is Kizaru killing Vegapunk, but Oda not delving into Kizaru's reasoning and justification for killing his best friend outside of just being a slave to the Celestial Dragons. Because you're showing the pain he went through, but then it's like, well, if you're in this much pain, why did you do it? What was your justification, right? What did you stand for, right? Which is why a lot of people were angry at Kizaru, right? I like the emotional moment. I still like Kizaru, but you can't not criticize the lack of understanding the decision. It seems shallow and it paints Kizaru as somebody that's pretty just pathetic. Kizaru's just pathetic at that point. And it's sad because I like Kizaru a lot. I really do. I love Borsalino. I thought he was great. I love the relationship with him and Vegapunk and his nephew. But I think Oda missed the ball there. Now, he can still rectify it because we can obviously go back, right? Kizaru could obviously leave the Marines or whatever and talk about it. That's fine. I still think timing and when to address that thing is important. With Garp, if you don't address it here while the reader has emotions are at its peak and you're like, Garp, how on earth? After what we've just witnessed, how are you still with these guys? Especially when your son, and this is where we can get to Dragon, when your son is seeing this and he's leaving and you have no response because obviously this is where Dragon is like, I'm done here, right? It's very obvious. how does he respond to his son? What is the conversation he's gonna have with his son? Because my assumption is Dragon and Garp are gonna meet at God Valley, and there will be words shared. That's gonna be a powerful conversation because it's gonna be the first. Because it's gonna be the first time we're really gonna see Dragon. Like, we're seeing him now. We're seeing him do things. We're seeing him take action. We're seeing him save people. These are things we've been begging about Dragon for a long time, and now that we're seeing it because of Dragon's actions, now I'm starting to question you, Garp. Your son joined the Marines. He took the route that you were begging Ace and Luffy to do, and look what happened to him. So depending on this conversation, if you don't have an ultimate goal in mind and you're saying, Ace, why didn't you join the Marines? Well, look what happened to Dragon. He joined the Marines and look what happened. So now your reasoning for telling Luffy and Ace to join the Marines rings hollow, which makes you look worse for letting Ace die. So it's dangerous. It's really dangerous what's happening here.
Yeah. I mean, if Garp's goal truly is to reform from the inside, and I guess the goal would be you need to join so that you can be, you know, a part of what makes this the greatest power in the world, not be totally evil and us like pushing back against it. Like, I need my own family there to do it. But as you said, like, Dragon has been a man of action in this flashback. He has had like his eyes open. It started out as okay, these are just tranquilizer guns. This doesn't feel right, but surely there's a reason for this. I guess I'll just follow orders. Okay. And then as it escalates, we get the smoke bombs coming in, put on your mask, we're gassing them. And then he sees them taking aim at children, walks up on Shank and Shamrock's mom dying and just begging, just don't give them back to Garling. And you know, he has to make this choice. He has to make this decision in himself of, I'm condemning myself, I'm condemning my men. Like, it's not easy. All of his men are going to be beheaded for his defecting as well. But he still ultimately has to make the choice within himself. This organization that I'm a part of is evil. They're committing atrocities. I cannot stand here. So he draws his line in the sand and he risks it all to be able to do what little he can do, even though people are dying left, right, and center. So it probably feels like very little, but like what little he can do, he's going to do. Dragon looks like a hero here. Dragon looks amazing.
He looks incredible
in these chapters.
Yes.
Which is a big reason why you and I are like, Garp, we need to see something from you. You know, if we see Dragon look around him and say, I can't be a part of this anymore, we need to see Garp look around and say, I have to change this, or like something equivalent. We have to see something out of him.
I know. It's a shame that, I don't want to say it's a shame that we've got to this point, but I guess for me personally, it's a shame that we've got to this point because I've been defending Garp for a long time, right? And I am a big fan of his character. I like Garp a lot. I loved him saving Kobe. I loved the little ethics class he was teaching with the young Marines, right? I love that he is kind of this hero. He is like a light and a beacon to young Marines that actually want to uphold real values and justice, people like Kobe, right? But it also is sad. It just seems like everyone that he tries to train leaves him. Luffy, Ace, Dragon, Kuzan leaving him. It's a sad story with Garp where everyone that he's putting his faith in keeps leaving. So do we even...
Got Kobe.
He's got Kobe, and it looks like Kobe's going to be the one that actually stays, which is why he did what he did to save Kobe. Because it seems like Kobe's actually genuinely trying to do what Garp wants him to do, right? Do you have pity for Garp in the fact that his plans have always been dashed because he's putting his hopes in these younger generation Marines, but they always end up straying away? That could be a case as well, because they lose faith in the Marines, and Garp is looking for someone who's going to stay the course, right? And Kobe seems like the person that's going to stay the course, so now he's placing his hopes on Kobe's heart and his moral compass to rise to the ranks of the Marines and change them from the inside. Again, the only problem with that is all just conjecture. That is just guesswork.
Yeah.
That is not actually implied, and that has not been explicitly stated. So if that's not the case,
I will say the dialogue that we have gotten from Garp recently surrounding Sword has been about the next generation. It's been about the old generation has to step aside and make room for new ideals, for new ways of doing things. The next generation is our future. You save the kid, you don't save the old man, right? Like, that is what he has been doggedly about. That's the whole moral code that we know he's teaching. So it does seem that he desires for what is to die out and for the next generation to rise up and bring us something new and something better. The question is going to be, how effective has the path he's chosen been? That's also not something that he could know going into it. And it seems like his goal actually is to stay and reform. So probably what Oda is doing is, I guess we already talked about it, is just showing the different angles a person can take to try to make the world better, to try to topple evils. And he may not even take take a position of, and this one was the right one and the rest were wrong. It may just be, you know, do what you can where you are.
I think so. And I think it would be fine if he goes that route, as long as he states what that is in these next chapters. We just have to get the plan. Right. I mean, again, the fact that we can even have this depth of a conversation about Garp, and then the conversation that we had with Loki, and then the conversation that we had with Harold, all within one flashback, just goes to show the magnitude of the arc that we're getting, where it's breeding this level of deep character analysis, narrative discussion, theories, all kinds of different things, right? For me personally, I don't know how you feel about it, because you know how I feel about Wano, so that's a whole thing. I haven't enjoyed reading One Piece. I don't think I've looked at One Piece this in depth in a very long time, because even with the Kuma flashback, right, Kuma resonated with me personally so much. It was so easy for me to just like, all right, I know exactly why I like Kuma. Vegapunk is cool, Kizaru is cool, but now I'm like looking at the storytelling decisions Oda's making and looking at like what would make sense narratively. What is he trying to build? What is he trying to put together? I haven't analyzed the story like this in a really long time. So for me, this seems like the best post time skip arc. We still need to wait for the climax of the actual arc, so there's still a lot more to come. But how are you feeling in regards to what you've experienced in One Piece compared to what you're experiencing currently? Is this some of the best stuff you've read, or you're just really enjoying it right now?
I'm less down on previous arcs than you are. So to me, this has all been awesome, but I don't know that it's multiple steps higher than Egghead was. It is higher than Wano for me, but I don't know that it's like leaps and bounds above it.
So from my take, with Egghead, it seemed like Kuma was the superstar, and him as a character is massive. So like, I don't think it's leaps and bounds above Kuma in the backstory, because it was such an emotionally charged arc that you can't be human and not feel something reading that. Like, it's impossible. But then when I'm getting to like a multi-layered story where it's less about pulling on the emotions and it's less about the themes that you take away in life, now it's about me as a reader in general. Like, that me as the intelligent reader that's receiving so many different things to focus on, so many different questions that I need to ask myself. The philosophical debates that I'm having in my mind of how do I feel about this? Is this right? Is this wrong? The morally gray, because in Egghead, there's a clear black and white. Here, you're dealing with a lot of gray everywhere between Loki and Rox and Harold and Garp. And I mean, the Celestial Dragons is black, don't get me wrong, but like in terms of evil, I mean, that's crazy to say, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know, the word plays out of control.
It's all right.
Yeah, but just follow me here. The Celestial Dragons are obviously evil, but in terms of like dealing with the nuance of the characters, there's so much complexity in so many different areas. With some of the good arcs, you have complexity in one area that you can really sit down and focus on, but it seems like there's nothing but complexity everywhere in this arc.
I would agree with that. What you said is completely true of Loki and of the flashback. I would say a lot of the chaos happening on Elbaf right now is less compelling to me. Just certain things that I think I have to actually see what Oda's going to do with them. Like when we return to Elbaf and we get the big battle with Gunko and Summers and Killingham and the Straw Hats, and like all of the build up around them being not quite immortal, but they can regenerate, and Emu is there, and like there's a lot of chaos that's happening right now that I'm still holding with a loose hand. I'm just gonna have to see how that goes. So it's difficult for me to totally compare it to other arcs, because Wano, I think, had parts that dragged and parts that were disappointing, and the ending is one of the parts that's disappointing. And so I feel like Elbaf is gonna have some of that too. It's just that this flashback is a high point.
Yes, and I think there's gonna be a shock factor when you come out of this flashback, where you're just like, oh my god, wait, because it doesn't feel like anything else is going on but this flashback, but it's like, no, there's a whole other story we gotta get back to in the present time. And I'm almost like Oda, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I like being here.
I don't want to go back either.
I don't want to go back. I'm very happy. Please, no. I feel like I'm at Six Flags and my mom is about to tell me, hey, we're about to go home. And I'm like, no, I want to ride the roller coaster the 17th time. Stop. No. What about the funnel cake? Like, I want to stay. So it's like, I see where you're coming from as well, because at the beginning of Elbaf, there was a lot of the slog, the stuff with Rodo and Castle, and I was like, ugh, right?
Just Legoland. We had the whole Legoland.
Yeah, right. Just a lot of stuff. The Saul stuff. We didn't even talk. Well, we don't need to touch on the Saul stuff. The Saul stuff was controversial, right? That was a whole controversy. But Roger Rayleigh and the Rocks Pirates, Big Mom and Kaido, right? Those guys. This isn't Roger's flashback, so obviously Rocks just looks so much better than Roger. Roger is so
bad.
not lame. Lame is a very strong word, but he just pales in comparison to Rocks. Like, I don't know anything that Roger has done that could make me like him more than Rocks at this point. And that's like dangerous because I haven't gotten like Roger's flashback and his childhood and building the crew. We haven't got that stuff yet. But then we already had the Odin flashback, right? Where we had a lot of Roger, but he still had his crew then. And even in that flashback, the Roger we saw there and the Rocks we're seeing now, nowhere near. Like, it's not even close. It's not hyperbole.
To be fair, compare Rocks to anybody. Go ahead. They lose.
They do. I'm not gonna lie. They do.
So it's just unfair. Let's just judge Roger by his own merit and not against Rocks.
And that's fair. And now, if I were to take Rocks out of the equation, I'm not playing comparison because comparison is the
And Roger still isn't all that. He's not doing all that much.
Roger's not doing all that much, but I will say it is nice to see Roger and Rayleigh's dynamic when it comes to Shaki, where he's at least okay. That look, Murphy, stop. Yeah, you're like, yeah, okay, buddy.
No, go ahead. I hear it.
Roger's subtle care for his friend, right, and him saying like, Rayleigh, why didn't you show up? Like, what's going on? That little back and forth dynamic. Roger hanging out with the guys, like hanging out with Whitebeard, hanging out with Big Mom, being a part of that. Just, it's so interesting to see Roger not in all his glory. Like, he's obviously a famous pirate, but he's not. It's Rox's era. It's not Roger's era yet. So he's still in that supernova tier, right? Yeah. So it's interesting to see Roger, who we've always known as this grandiose character, kind of be the background and see who he is and who he was as the background. Where, if I'm gonna be honest, it reminds me of Ace. He has the same energy and mannerisms as Ace a little bit when he was on his own. Not in like, oh, they're like alike, but he seems like he has the same energy as Ace.
I can see that a little bit. I don't think I have any strong opinions on Roger at this point, other than that I think Oda overuses the simp gag and it degrades characters, at least from my perspective.
No, you're right, it does.
Okay, thank you.
You're right.
But that said, as you pointed out, it's not the Roger era. We haven't actually gotten his full character arc. We haven't seen him in his prime yet. So, you know, in this flashback, we're not seeing much because it's not his time to shine yet. So I'm gonna let it play out and we'll get there when we get there. Now, Rayleigh's looking good in this flashback. All these other lads are looking like fools, and Rayleigh is just like, I'm fine. I'm sorry about them. Real big sorry. They're all fools. And the lady that everybody wants is winking at him because he actually has some self-respect. And decorum. She's like, okay,
some class.
I like he's decorum. She's like, all right, that's interesting.
That's nonchalant gimmick. He's running the nonchalant gimmick because he like, yeah, you know, he's doing it.
Oh, it's so funny. The fact that Roger's like, why didn't you tell me? And I thought his answer was going to be, because like, I don't want to mess things up with us. I don't want to make things weird. I know you like her. But instead he's just like, I don't really want to be tied down. Like, he didn't care. Yeah,
he didn't care, bro. Nonchalant gimmick. It works. He did it. He did the right thing. He's like, nah, bro, I'm mine. Right? And Shaki's like, wow, this guy's so interesting. Wow. Oh my God.
Come find me.
Come find me. I said, girl. Ooh.
Talk about desperation. The lads need to calm down. He does too.
The Rocks Pirates. Are they not the most fascinating crew you've ever seen? Design wise, like dynamic personality. Like Shiki is hilarious. Shiki is so stupid, but he's so funny. I love Shiki.
Yeah, he is. The whole like explosion. He's like, who did that? He's like, I don't know.
It wasn't me. He's like, oh my God, Silver Axe Chan. I thought you were gonna die. What happened? I'm like, this guy, if there's a definition of a rat, it is Gold Lion Shiki, the biggest rat I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but also Rocks obviously has some poor judgment or just got the raw end of a Davy back deal because he's got a friggin' swamp looking man in his crew. Anybody could have looked at that character, just seen the way his tongue hangs out and the way his chin's all rubbed together and could have easily said he shouldn't be on the crew. If someone's gonna betray us, it's gonna be him. Come on, Rocks, use your brain. I know you're smart. Why did you let him on your crew? And then they're betrayed. And he's like, who could it be? And bro over here is fanning himself with money that they didn't help him get.
Toxic.
And they're like, oh yeah, oh, you're gonna stay behind while we go try to save her? No, we're gonna save her and you try to talk us out of it? You try to tell us that's probably not a good idea. That's probably misinformation. I bet that news report is wrong. And then we say we're gonna go anyway. And then you say, I'm gonna stay behind. And everybody's just still trusting the swamp? Insane.
I don't blame you. Ochoko, he's a rat. We don't like him. Not the good kind. He's the bad one. We don't
The
accept him
worst.
like that. The worst kind. The swamp. Yeah, he is bottom of the barrel trash. Least favorite, obviously. We don't like him. He's trash.
Good.
We're done.
Good.
Kaido and Big Mom. One, I'm loving Big Mom. Like, Big Mom has been such a breath of fresh air. Like,
She has
competent, cunning. Like, we talked about her being a hoe, but she's owning it. Like, she just,
She's so
Big Mom.
cohesive with the group.
She's so cohesive, so aware of everything around her, just her own personality, just so there. She's like put together.
She's not domineering. She's not like losing her mind over hunger pangs. She seems so different from the Big Mom caricature that we've all just accepted exists.
Yes, so different. I really enjoyed her, like a lot. Why is Big Mom my favorite out of this whole crew? Like, where did this Big Mom go? And Kaido kind of being the cabin boy in this. I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong, but it just goes to show that, I don't know.
The character that never was.
That's really what he is. Right? It's always what could have been with Kaido. Outside of his fighting ability, and I think that's just what he's going to be.
Okay, but this is a great way to contrast characters, at least in execution discussion, because you have Kaido, who was hyped up so much, and we were all so excited, all on the edge of our seat. And then what we got, just kind of feel like what could have been. Like, you want to love him so bad, but every time you get a little bit more, it's just like, okay. Whereas with Rocks, hyped up to the nth degree for a long period of time.
A long period of time. Since
we get there and every single expectation has been exceeded. Every one of them.
Completely. I agree with that. I did not know he'd be like this. Yeah.
It's not even that Oda just built Kaido up too much and there was no hope. Because you can see the clear execution difference between the two.
Yeah, completely different.
Well, at least we have Rocks.
Oh, no, Rocks has been... I was thinking about it, and I don't want to get into hyperbole, but he's definitely in my top 5 characters in the story right now. Like,
That's
already.
so good for you. You've got Blackbeard and Rocks.
I just, and just the best part is I like Blackbeard from the very beginning. This is not a gimmick. I've been preaching.
This is a win for you.
This is just such a massive win. It's a big win for me. But
you know what's a win for me though?
What?
Buggy is a part of the family too.
Don't ruin this, Murphy.
I'm so happy for
Murphy Napier.
Murphy, you and I are in the same family.
You were about to destroy 3 to 4 years of strong friendship, right? Murphy, we are practically family at this point. Like, literally, Murphy, we are actually family, and you're ruining my life and our friendship.
What's your favorite JoJo's character? It's Dio and with a priest.
Oh, Poochie? I love Father Poochie. He's goated. Yeah.
Just like Dio and Poochie were meant to be, you and I.
No, she's ruining it. She's ruining it. She's ruining it. I can't, I can't take it. I can't take it. Karen,
that come together with the
Karen, help me.
best dynamics. I'm
Karen,
so happy
I'm
for
about
both
to jump
of
off the
us.
bridge. I can't take this.
I'm so happy for both of us.
This is the worst thing I've heard in my life. I can't handle this. Buggy is not related to Elizabeth. No, stop.
A win for you, a win for me. Great day for everybody involved.
Why did you ruin it? I was happy. I was so happy, Murphy, and you've ruined my day so badly. It's over.
I feel like I haven't had enough ratty moments in this stream. You know, we've been so serious.
I know, and now the chat's happy because it's like, haha, Murphy got Jay. LOL. Right? I get it. Whatever, bro. Wow, I'm so upset. I got a headache. Holy moly. Buggy, Jesus. Oh, give me strength. I gotta read my Bible. I need prayer. I think we've covered just about everything, so we can end it now. Thanks, guys. It's been great. Shout out to Murphy. Thanks for coming again, sis. We'll see you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.